Welcome back to the channel, guys. I just wanted to do a little advanced look at the importance of getting 8 hours of sleep. I know I touched on it a little bit in the last video, but I really didn't. I don't feel like I graphically represented all the different tips that I've learned in the last 11 days on this intermittent fasting. So I wanted to do a follow-up, a more advanced look at the importance of 8 hours sleep and the four hormones that are kind of linked to the issue of sleep. This is a journal of my own intermittent fasting and weight loss journey. So far, I've dropped about 8 pounds in since I started. I'm feeling really, really amazing. Right now, I'm weighing it at about 231.4. So I'm really happy with the results, and I just want to keep going. I do not want to gain the weight back. So of course, I'm looking at all the different aspects to what could contribute to additional weight loss. Eventually, I want to lose another 13 pounds. That's going to be my second short-term goal, 13 pounds by the end of January 2021. So as we can see, getting 8 hours sleep is very, very important. And these are just some notes that I jotted down. Of course, general disclaimer, if you're having issues with sleep, if sleep is a major issue for you, of course, you should consult with your primary care physician. But these are simply notes as relating to my own personal weight loss journey and my intermittent fasting journey and what I've learned so far based on everything that has happened in the last 11 days. So I can see that sleep deprivation is a major issue, and a lot of people identify it with weight gain. And it just makes sense that if you're sleep deprived, it means you have more awake hours, which means that you probably have a tendency to intake possibly up to 500 or more calories extra if you're sleep deprived. The other thing to consider too, if you're getting less than 5 hours sleep every night, then that might be contributing to a higher BMI, body mass index, and it also may be contributing to a general feeling of obesity. But when it comes to also eating late at night, which was a major problem for me, I found that it was harder for me to fall asleep. It was harder for me to get a good night's sleep, good quality sleep where I'm rested the following day and I don't need to take any power naps, because power napping was a big thing for me about 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., but it's no longer an issue anymore because I'm getting a solid 8 to 9 hours sleep simply by stopping from eating at anywhere from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. when my cutoff is. So right now, my fasting window where I'm actually only eating food is from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. So we'll take a look at if we take a look at the issue of ghrelin, which is a hormone linked to your stomach, that is linked to sending hunger signals to your body, and that's basically telling you whether you're hungry. If you're getting hungry signals via this hormone, it was going to make it harder for you to generally control your diet. The other signal to look at also is leptin. Leptin is a hormone that's linked to the fat cells, and it has to do with feelings of fullness. And if you have a sense of feeling of fullness throughout the day, when I drink a lot of green tea, I tend to feel more full because it does have an effect of possibly lowering my need for my appetite. So it's a very vicious cycle where if you're getting fewer hours of sleep, the first hormone, ghrelin may be higher and then leptin may be lower, which starts a vicious cycle of where you feel that you're hungrier and then you feel less full. And then of course we have our major issue with cortisol, which is which is also called a stress hormone. So we're going to take a look at cortisol and insulin also. Yeah, so the other issue that we need to take a look at that's listed here is cortisol. Cortisol is often referred to as that stress hormone. And when I talked to my nutritionist about cortisol, he mentioned that it's basically known as the belly fat hormone. When you're stressed out, you tend to produce more cortisol. When you're sleep deprived, you tend to have more cortisol in your system. And if many people out there are battling belly fat, they probably want to address the issue of what they can do to reduce cortisol in their system. There are a lot of different foods that you can consume. You want to take a look at different types of tea. You also want to take a look at different types of cruciferous vegetables that you can eat that might be linked to lowering your cortisol. Of course, you want to check with your nutritionist on this as far as what will help you to reduce this stress hormone. But cortisol is another major culprit to weight gain. And in this time of pandemic issues and evictions and loss of employment, this stress hormone is a major culprit to why so many people have been complaining that on the lockdown that they've been gaining a lot of belly fat. And of course, it is understandable because these are very, very stressful times. Millions of people are really hurting out there. And it is a serious issue that we're dealing with right now as we go into 2021. But hopefully, this slide will shed light on the issue of ghrelin, which has to do with your hunger signals, leptin, that has to do with your feeling of fullness, and then we have cortisol, which has to do with stress, linked to stress. The next other issue that gets a lot of press is insulin. Of course, I'm not here as a doctor. I'm simply someone who's going through intermittent fasting and weight loss, but I can only make a reference to what happens when you eat food late at night, which was a major problem for me. I was eating food late at night, 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and if you eat a high carbohydrate meal, like perhaps maybe a slice or two of pizza late at night, it is the worst thing that you can do for your sleep pattern, because now that you're trying to digest a food that is high in carbohydrates, and of course your body is going to want to convert those carbs into glucose, and that's going to mean that there's going to be an input of you're generally going to have more sugar in your blood, because now your body is trying to digest that food. And I had a major problem with falling asleep late at night because of any kind of high carbohydrate meal. I've gotten to the point now where I don't really have any desire to eat pizza anymore, because I start to think about all the high carbohydrates in pizza and what it may do to blood sugar issues in my body. So I just don't mess with pizza anymore. Simply, it's just one of those headache foods for me, as far as trying for me, that get in the way, and it serves as a hindrance to me achieving my weight loss goals. But generally, because I cut off food at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., and if you remember from my previous videos, the reason I do that is to allow the 2 to 3 hours for digesting your food, and then you have another 2 hours in what's called the absorptive state. And then my body goes into, I want my body to actually go into a more advanced fat burning state, deep when I'm in deep sleep. And that is the whole importance of this update. I just want people to take a real closer look at the impact of these four issues here, four hormones, and how they relate to what happens to your body if you get 5 hours or less sleep consistently. Now, there are going to be times when you may get 8 hours sleep a couple nights a week, and then you may have a culprit night where you get 5 hours sleep, and that's fine. But on a consistent level, it may lead to issues with weight gain. So I just wanted to highlight these four issues here as we go forward, and please look forward to our next video. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.